The Chicago Sky remaining active in offseason. They have now traded Dana Evans reportedly to the Las Vegas Aces for 2 second-round picks. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. We got Stevo, myself, Haize, in the building today. And something that wasn't on my board that I didn't expect to hear today, Dana Evans is reportedly being traded to the Las Vegas Aces. This one comes from Annie Constable. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Annie.
Sky Insider, though. She's being traded to the Aces for 2 second-round picks. Stevo, how you feeling about this move?
I'm fine with it. I felt like with the amount of guards that we already have on this team and then the guards that we required, I kind of felt like a deal with her was kind of looming. I didn't know that it was very quiet, so I didn't know who was interested or who was going to be buyers for it. But I did think that it was a point of emphasis to make a move to get rid of Dana just because of the guards we just picked up already. And just the production, the things that we heard that went on during the season, this, that, and the third. It was just time to move on. And to get 2 second-round picks out of this deal in this draft, especially with me looking at a lot of people that I'm very, very interested in the second round, I like it. I really like the deal, to be quite honest with you. Sucks to see it go. It's the end of an era. We see her win the championship, but all good things come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I said it. We said it when the Sky extended the qualifying offer, and everybody was like, "Well, why do they extend the qualifying offer? Why bring Dana back?" That we said that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be back on this team just because they extended her qualifying offer. It does lead them to a place, and it ends up working out for them. The fact that that's why we were so surprised that they didn't at least extend an offer to Kennedy Carter, because in this space, you got a player that kind of everybody saw the writing on the wall that was going to be gone. Heck, she asked and requested for a trade last year, literally right before the trade deadline, according to her agent. So everybody kind of saw that this was where this was going to go. But now that you gave her a qualifying offer, you get 2 second-round picks out the deal. That's tremendous value for somebody that wasn't part of your long-term future.
Yeah. And like you said, we're going younger. We're in the rebuilding stage. We're trying to recruit as much picks as possible. It's a good move. To be quite honest with you, I didn't think picks was going to be in the deal with Dana. I thought we was going to be trading her for another player, honestly. So the fact that we was able to get picks, and not only that, multiple second round picks of that in a deep draft that it can be, I like it. I very much like it. Like you bring in Nurse in, you bring in Allen. We already know Diamond has moved on, so we need we kind of recouped on the wing side. But what we already had, bringing Michaela back and everything, I like what we're doing. I think that's something that Tyler has in store for this team. He has a vision. He has a way about how he's going a plan of attack for this offense and defense per se. And we got a nice amount of veterans. We're coming back like E Will as well. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, and this makes sense too. Like you said, it's in a very deep draft, which is really good. The Aces have the picks at 13 and 16 in this draft, and I think this goes to show. Like, I know we had a conversation before, Steve-O, on if the Sky were really going to go in this younger direction. You now have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds of this draft, 4 of them. That in a deep draft like this, hey, the Sky got a room now. Even if they do look to move on, I know somebody's going to ask, "Well, could this mean that they're going to move off and trade one of their picks?" They could trade one of their first round picks. Now they have 2 seconds. It could do a lot, but it's the flexibility that's a part of this that I really like when it comes down to it.
And that's what I was going to go with. It's a lot of versatile moves you can make. You could go the route of picking and having a bunch packaged together to get a player that you're out there wanting, or you could go the route of this is your picks where you can gamble a little bit. There's going to be somebody in that second round that should be a first round pick, but they are a second round due to injury or a situation that happened in college unbeknownst to us. Like, there's a lot of reasons why people file out the first round, especially in the W. So this is it's so many ways we could go about it. Hell, we could possibly use this as just these. There's a lot of veteran players that just got signed to teams just by a trade with 2 second-round picks.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that's 3 examples of ways we can attack it by just this pick alone, or just this move alone, I should say. So I like it. To be honest, this might be up there top 3 of Jeff Paglios's best moves.
Oh yeah, I mean this is a great move by Jeff Pagliosha, mainly because, like I said, this is a player that everybody saw wasn't part of your future, that everybody saw, wasn't going to be. Like, people were surprised they even extended her a qualifying offer and didn't let her walk away for nothing. By doing that, you now get 2 second-round picks back just because you played it smart. I mean, I'm not enamored with everything Jeff Pagliosha does by any stretch of the imagination, but credit where credit's due. This is a very smart move.
Very.
It's a very smart move.
Yeah, it's a very smart move, despite of all the other moves we could have done. So I'm glad he started to do it. I mean, at least it's one Chicago team that's using their players for something. At least they know how to get some picks. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dana goes to, she's still very young. She goes to a team with great structure who may very well know how to use her, on top
I
of,
like that.
especially her coming off the bench. They've been very good at utilizing players off the bench, and they can use some youth as well, considering the trade that they made earlier in the offseason. So this could be good for Dana, but more importantly, this is great for the Sky, just the value that they were able to extract out of it. Now we got to see what they're going to do. But this gives a lot of creativity for what you can do. If you want to package them to move up, go ahead.
I was about to say, can we all but confirm with this move now for sure that I think Brenda Maxwell is coming back?
Could be. I mean, it would make a lot of sense with how young we're going to invest in a player that they wanted Brenda Maxwell. Like, Jeff Pagliosha talked more about Brenda Maxwell. Yeah, they talked more about Brenda Maxwell really than he did Angel. So I mean, she is a free agent. She has the ability to sign anywhere, but I would love to be able to bring Brenda Maxwell back.
Yeah. It's just like I said, it's a lot of draft capital. It's a lot of moves you can make. I feel way better than how I felt maybe a month ago. I will say that. I feel way better about this team a month ago. Hell, might even say about a couple weeks ago, because I wasn't too keen in on the Kia Nurse and Rebecca Allen signing, but it makes more sense the more I look at it. It makes more basketball sense. And I think it's a lot of people that had to remind me, like, Tyler is the guy that we need to be focusing on, because he's the guy that's going to revamp everything. Like, I think that's what a lot of people has been looking at the moves, but the moves fit Tyler. He don't need big names per se. Yeah, he's coming from a big name organization, but he spent 10 plus years almost in the G League.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And we still got 2 months until the draft, but this is a really, really good move to set up. Island Girl, just to follow up. So the Sky have traded Dana Evans to the Aces for 2 second-round picks. As far as we know right now, it doesn't seem like any players coming back in this move. It is just the second-round picks. And they're in this draft. They're in the 2025 draft. So,
yeah. So that's the key thing. They got 2 2025 picks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, now we got 4. We got 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Like I said, and this is kind of what, when you look at what Jeff Pagliosha did last year as well, right? Like, we moved the picks around to make sure that we could move up and get Angel. There's like, now, if for example, if it looks like, and I'm just throwing out a name out there, with Cheyenne Sellers is moving up draft boards, right? Okay. If you wanted to try to move up to make sure he got her now at number 10, you could throw in a second. You could throw in 2 seconds to move up to make sure you get Cheyenne if that's who you want. So this flexibility is just a smart. Now, if they draft all 4 players, great. But if you know a player that you want, second round picks are like icing on top of the cake. So if you want to move up 3 spots, because right now some mocks have Cheyenne going at number 7, so she wouldn't be there at number 10 for us. I'm just using her as a name. But if you wanted to move up, you can call that team and say, hey, we want to move up 3 spots. We got an extra second for you on top of our own first round pick. And that usually can get it done.
And because you got this did at this moment, it also helps because, like, this mock draft can change so drastically. Like you already said, Cheyenne is jumping up. The way UConn looking, I can see some of their players dropping it. Izzy is dropping as the day go by. Like that, and it's quality everywhere. There's Janiyah Baker is jumping up in the boards. Kiki jumping up. Like this whole thing can look completely different, and a lot of things could turn out in our favor. So don't get stuck on what you see right now in these current mock drafts, because it's still a whole lot of college basketball left, and these girls ain't looking like how they used to.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the mocks as well, somebody like Tahina, who at the start of this college season, people had her at the end of the first, maybe even going into the second round because of the injury concerns. Now a lot of mocks
She
have her
mid.
going in the top 5, top
Yeah,
6.
she's
So
mid now.
yeah, so it's a lot of movement still left to be done in this draft, and so the Sky have set themselves up to where they have the assets that they need to move up and make sure they get their player. So I'm not mad at that.
Facts.
So, any last thoughts, Steve, before we get up out of here?
Nah, about time you start making some good moves, Jeff. That's all I gotta say.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We'll see how this continues, man. Make sure you guys stay in tune with us at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799, or the number one spot for everything Chicago